Welcome to Seed Starting Indoors When You're Not a Gardener. I'm Mary from the Adult Department of the Rochester Hills Public Library. This project will require 4 main elements. You'll need to find a container. This can be anything. Be creative and raid your recycle bin. For instance, you might have an old pot from a previous purchase, food containers, make great potting mediums. Also, take-out containers because they also include a nice lid to give that greenhouse effect. A cup. Plastic cups are great. If you have more than one, you can invert it and again create your greenhouse effect. The second thing you will need is a growing medium. Now, if you've got a seed starting mixture, that's fantastic. And it's generally a very, very fine consistency. If you don't have that, just regular potting soil, that's great also. If you don't have potting soil, but you have an old dead house plant, this will work too. And failing any of those 3 things, if you can get outside, you could just get yourself some plain dirt. So I'm going to start with just the regular potting soil. And whatever you use, you want to make sure you break it up so there aren't any large lumps. And you're going to prep it with some warm water. You don't want to make it soupy or like mud, but you do want it to be moist and able to hold moisture for those seeds that are going to sprout for you. So I'm going to get that going. I'm breaking up some larger lumps here. I might speed this along a little bit. So you're going to add a little bit of warm water, just a little bit at a time. If you find that you've overdone it, you can just add some more of your soil. And if you don't have enough, just keep adding water and mixing until you have a nice moist consistency. So I'm going to add a little more. And you're probably thinking, okay, I've got a container, I've got soil, but what am I going to do for seeds? If you're fortunate enough to have actual commercially purchased seeds, then you can get those ready. Check the instructions on the back of your seeds. So it could be some flowers, could be some vegetables. And usually on the back there will be instructions. If you don't have any seeds, you still can do this. Go into your kitchen and look in your refrigerator, your pantry. You might find that you've got tomatoes, and they'll have seeds inside. Perhaps a bell pepper. Again, nice seeds inside. Perhaps you have a variety of squash. Left over from my last year's garden, I actually have a pumpkin, so I might plant some of those as well. So once my soil's nice and moist and not soupy, and I've chosen which seed I'm going to use, and I think since it'll be easier to see, I'm going to pick a couple of pumpkin seeds. If you've got a choice, try to go for the most robust one you can find. And you can't go wrong with a 1/4 inch planting depth. And you can either eyeball it, use your finger, use a pencil, just kind of jab it in, which is sort of what I'm doing here. I'm just going to put that seed right in here. I got one here, one on the other side. And I'm just going to get them covered up with my soil. And because this is a takeout container, I actually have a lid that I can then place loose. Don't seal it, but you do want to place it loosely on top. So it has a little bit of air circulation, but it'll also act a bit as a greenhouse for you. And then you're going to put that in the sunny window. And when the sprouts get a little taller and start bumping against your lid, you can pull that off and just let them go. If you don't have a lid or a clear cup or some such to use as a greenhouse, you could just use plastic wrap as well. So this is going to be ready for a window. And when they get a little bigger, depending on what you're growing, I have, for instance, some cherry tomatoes this was really great because it had a little flip over lid that I could use. These are ready to be transplanted into a larger container and to be by themselves. And I happen to have kept one of these from a previous flower purchase. And I'll again prepare some new soil. And I'm going to very carefully separate these because I don't want to break the stem and I don't want to disturb the roots too much. And I'm going to put them each into one of these and let them grow a little more. And when they get even bigger, now these are pepper plants, bell peppers. You noticed I was showing you a bell pepper earlier. These are from a pepper that was in my refrigerator. I've got about a dozen of these started, and as you see, they're doing pretty well in my south window. When you're getting closer to real spring, which we have not really had yet, you want to wait until all danger of frost is over. And then you want to take your seeds outside to acclimate to the weather. Get them used to the cooler temps that are not your house. And then eventually you'll either plant them directly in the ground that you've chosen outside or in a large pot, whether you have a nice sunny spot on a patio or a porch or just in a corner of your yard. And hopefully you'll enjoy some fresh flowers or produce for the summer. Thank you and enjoy.